Haven House, 10 years before the Age of Revelation. Death Dream drags the group out to an old barn in Louisiana. Calico is already nervous. Her mom spent her whole life warning her about goblin people and demons, so wandering into a creepy barn at night is not exactly helping. Still, she trusts Death Dream, Jitter, and Ransom. Mostly. During the day, anyway. Once everyone settles in, Death Dream finally explains why they're there. Back in the penumbra, he looked into SHUVAHRAK's heart and saw exactly what she wants if she ever escapes. She wants eternal darkness. She wants to be completely alone on Earth forever. That gets everyone's attention real fast. Realizing how serious this is, the group makes a vow. If SHUVAHRAK ever gets free, the 5 of them, including Ember, will stop her no matter what. Calico is terrified and definitely not okay, but she loves these people and knows they love her too. So she swears the oath with the rest. Then we jump years into the future. The old house has stood watch for centuries, waiting for the voice of darkness. And now the day they feared has finally arrived. The place is burning, and the team knows SHUVAHRAK is heading for Atlantis. Jitter somehow knows almost everything these days, except how they're supposed to get there. Calico solved that problem, but fighting SHUVAHRAK at the bottom of the ocean is still another issue. Fortunately, she has a plan. The team rides underwater toward Atlantis on massive sea mounts, while Gambit reflects on Calico growing up like the daughter he almost had. When they arrive, Atlantis is still full of life and color, which honestly makes some people uncomfortable after living on a ruined surface world for so long. Then they meet a much bigger problem. Namor shows up. The king of Atlantis is furious. As far as he's concerned, surface dwellers destroyed the world and brought death everywhere they went. He's not interested in hearing explanations and tells them to leave immediately. Gambit can hear something familiar in Namor's voice though. Grief. He thinks about Rogue. The day she split into 2 versions of herself. The Rogue who still walks the earth and hates him. The one who loved him and absorbed Galactus to save the world, only to spend years frozen and unmoving afterward. Gambit knows exactly what it feels like to carry that kind of pain. Namor still refuses to listen, so the team gets ready for a fight. Chelsea creates a dome beneath the ocean, turning part of the seabed into dry ground. Each X-Men is protected by pressure auras by Calico. Their sea mounts become ghost horses, because apparently things weren't weird enough already. Ransom volunteers to keep Namor occupied while everyone else searches for SHUVAHRAK, but Gambit refuses to let that happen. This is why he survived. He's already halfway in the grave and knows it. Calico isn't having it. She reminds him that he taught her how to be a mutant and how to be a person. Then, in the middle of the argument, she calls him her father. That hits him hard. The 2 share an emotional goodbye. Calico begs him not to do this. Gambit tells her she'll never lose him, because she found him. Before she leaves, he asks her to be good to the others, and reminds everyone that life is too short to be alone. After that, he sends the team away to save the world while he stays behind with Namor. The fight starts with Gambit unloading a storm of charge cards. He figures if he's going out, he might as well do it loudly. While blasting Namor, he notices the tiny wings on Namor's ankles and realizes they're the key to keeping the king airborne. Once he figures that out, he starts targeting them. Shockingly, it works. Gambit actually starts winning. Namor gets knocked around Atlantis and sent crashing into the seabed. Gambit even starts joking about seafood boils while beating up the king of Atlantis. Turns out not caring whether you survive can make you surprisingly dangerous. Unfortunately, Namor eventually gets serious. He stops flying, unleashes his full power, and drives his trident straight through Gambit's chest. Just like that, the momentum is gone. Even while bleeding out, Gambit stays weirdly calm about it. Meanwhile, SHUVAHRAK has arrived and started devouring Atlantis itself. The team quickly realizes they're completely outmatched. Death Dream comes up with a desperate idea involving raising the dead, which nobody is entirely sure about ethically, but they're running out of options. Back with Namor, Gambit rips the trident out of his shoulder, charges it with kinetic energy, and thrusts it right in Namor's gut. Namor is stunned. Mostly because Gambit should absolutely be dead by now. Then Gambit reveals his real plan. A friend showed up. SHUVAHRAK, dragon of Asgard. The dragon crashes into the fight, happily introducing himself to Namor and announcing that he'd very much like to eat him. Elsewhere, Calico confronts SHUVAHRAK directly, demanding to know why she spreads misery everywhere she goes. SHUVAHRAK basically agrees that she's awful, then immediately proves it by swatting Calico aside. The team knows they can't stop her. Every plan they have will only delay the inevitable. Then the ground shakes. Not an earthquake, a footstep. And suddenly everyone realizes who it is. Rogue is back. The giant cosmic-powered Rogue returns and faces SHUVAHRAK head-on. SHUVAHRAK insists it doesn't matter. Rogue disagrees. Very strongly. She grabs SHUVAHRAK, tells her centuries of terror are over, and crushes her skull with one overwhelming burst of power cosmic. Just like that, the nightmare ends. As Gambit starts sinking away, convinced he won't make it, he feels her hand grab his. For years he'd spoken to her every night at 9 o'clock, and she heard every word. Afterward, the truth comes out. Deathdream traded away his own eternal life to bring Rogue back. His only explanation was simple. X equals family. Gambit nearly dies too, but Jitter manages to save him using the knowledge of more than 100 of the greatest surgeons who ever lived. The old house is gone, but it's still home. Rogue's attempt to absorb Galactus ended up causing a glitch, and somehow the family that split apart finally remembers why they loved each other in the first place. Everyone comes back together. Jitter is even rebuilding Sentinel Boy. As for Gambit, he's mostly focused on being alive and kissing Rogue as often as possible. Looking back on everything, he finally understands what made them strong all along. Alone, they're just lost people wandering through a broken world. Alone, they're hopeless. Together, though, they're unbreakable.